welcome to Ink and Imagination. My name is Tabby.
And my name's Sarah. Hi.
What a great day today, because we are talking about a book we liked. I would say
Loved. I loved it. It's called Tomorrow, and Tomorrow, I want to say. There's another and in there. I don't know. Who's the author? This is the second time now Tabby doesn't know the author immediately. That has never happened before. I'm telling you.
Yes, I'm
very
sorry.
I'm not sure. Can I find it immediately?
I don't know where it is. I mean, somewhere on my
Yeah,
phone.
Gabrielle Zevin.
Ah, okay. Yes. Oh, she looks very young, by the way. I thought she was like younger than you when I saw her on TikTok.
And see, that's the funny thing. As soon as you read something, I'm not sure, do you actively go into it and like look the people up on it?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Okay. And they just happen for you?
In this case, just because immediately the writing was like sucking me in and was so beautiful that I was like, oh, I need to know, like, what does the person look like? What does the person talk like? Because it's also reminded me so much of John Green.
Oh, okay.
The writing.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Yeah, it was, but and then also when I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's such like John Green writing, like The Fault in Our Stars, etc. The first video that popped up was John Green saying, "Hey, I love this book. You all need to read it." I was
like, I knew. I love that. Okay, that's cool.
Yes, but first things first. What are you currently reading, my dear?
I am currently reading I Am the Queen of This Life. Goodbye Microphone.
That's a book.
For everyone who didn't see that for a second. Microphone attack, Tabby. Yeah, it's a webtoon. I've been reading that for ages, but currently I've read like 6-7 chapters in one go because I always have to wait for like the next one to come out and the next one. So I'm like,
torture.
Yes, it's literal torture. And I just read like a chunk in one go because I waited, and it got so addictive. And then I was like, oh, now I feel like I have to spend my entire money on getting more episodes. But even then, there's only a limited amount available. So I'm like, I'm pissed. But what it is essentially about is there's this lady. She was in a super unloving marriage, kind of in like around the medieval times. And she had a super horrible relationship. And she was supposed to be like the queen in that life, though. She was supposed to kind of become like the next royal in like the bloodline. And she didn't. Last minute, she was betrayed. She was betrayed by her own husband. She was murdered and everything. And then she was rebirthed in like her teen years, and she gets to relive her entire life again with the knowledge of her previous life. And then
I think you've talked about that before.
Yeah, I think I have. And then the premise is like she gets to be the queen in this life.
Yeah.
But then she actually turns into like a really nice person, wants to help people and everything, and turns like life around for good. And it's so thrilling right now. I'm on the edge of my seat the entire time. The writing is amazing. The pictures are absolutely stunning. The artwork, beautiful. I'm so captured by this whole thing, and I need this to be turned into like a series or into like an actual book that I can just like fly through. I literally love it so much. If you are at all like a cartoon reader, a webtoon reader, a comic reader, go read it. It's fantastic. It's brilliant. You will be suffering after like a couple of 100 episodes because, as I said, it's still in production. But good Lord, do I love it.
I would also like to highlight, once again, I know we've talked about that before, but how much insane talent is in webtoon and fanfic writing.
Insane.
Yes.
Because it's usually just like a hobby team that kind of does this.
Sometimes
on the fly.
It's just one person.
It's wild.
Yeah. And like the artistry, like, yes, of course, the artwork and the pictures, the artistry, but also the writing, not just the ideas they come up with, but also how it's written without like professional editors or without like a huge company behind them is like, I cannot say enough good things about webtoon.
Miss King Bean 89.
Yes, but right now I just wanted to say webtoon and fanfic writers. And yes, if we're talking about it right now, I'd like to mention Miss King Bean 89. Where are you?
Yeah, we haven't mentioned her in a couple of episodes yet.
Yes,
wow.
Please write anything.
Literally anything.
Yeah,
please do it. So this woman can finally shut up about it.
Well,
I need it as much as she does, just for different reasons.
So let's talk about tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, or
and
maybe one less end. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is it about?
The book is essentially about two teenagers making a video game in the 90s.
That honestly was so confusing. The timeline, they were jumping around
Yeah.
crazily.
Oh, I didn't even
Because I
notice
was
that
also
much.
like, yes, okay, they were born in the 70s, they
Yeah.
meet like in the 80s. Then in the 90s, they started university. But then, like 5 minutes later, 9/11 happens. And I was like, huh? And then they jump forward 10 years after 9/11, but they're still only 30. And I'm just like,
Oh, I stopped doing the timeline in my head. I was like,
that was so
whatever.
confusing to me. That was like, I don't think, I don't think the author thought through what is happening when. Because the timeline made
Really?
no sense whatsoever to me.
I didn't notice that at all. I was happily just like going
Yeah,
through
but
this
that's
and being like,
also
oh
how
yeah,
we read.
whatever.
Like you're just like happily
True, and then you
going-
hyperfixate on like every
and
single
I'm just
thing.
like, it needs to make sense. It needs to make logical sense.
It probably did. Like if we mapped it out, like let's bring out a timetable.
We forgot to talk about what I'm reading, by the way.
I know. I realized, and then you just skipped through it, so I assumed like maybe you're not reading anything.
What
Do
a
you
crack
wanna
ass.
do you wanna give us like a 30-second wrap up?
No, yeah, because I would really, really like to talk about. I'm reading a book that Sarah made me read for the podcast, and it's called Bound and Barbed. And you've heard it on here before when Sarah read it, because I thought it was like a kinky serial killer book.
Oh yeah.
And Sarah's like, nah. And that's a famous where we're both like,
Nah.
famous to us because we had to edit it and heard it like 5
Like a
billion
zillion
times.
times. And also like it's one of these moments where like brain cell just syncs up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
And then we were looking for more books to read for the podcast. And I was like, okay, I'll just read Bound and Barbed. It's on Kindle Unlimited. And Sarah has read it. And Sarah has not read a lot this year.
You have to stop rubbing that in every single episode. It's making me feel bad.
It should. That's
Oh,
what
man.
I'm trying to do with it.
I'm crying.
And it's so good. Like, I love the main character so much. She's so baby girl.
Yes, he's like this big bad guy, but he's baby girl.
Cinnamon roll baby girl.
Yes, he's a cutie patootie. But I'm excited when we talk about that book.
Yes, it's
gonna be
definitely going to
great.
be an episode. I'm so excited already. Okay, anyway, back to tomorrow.
Back to business.
Yes.
Yeah, two teenagers who make a video game.
and
Sam. And then there's a third person, Marks, who is
the best person in this book.
Yeah, true.
Mhm.
And so Sadie is a girl who had like a rich-ish upbringing.
Not like rich.
Um,
Without
okay.
the ish.
Okay, she's rich.
Yeah.
And then Sam is a kid who had from very early on a very rough car accident and therefore has a like a broken foot.
Well, it's more
Kind
like
of, it's like a-
shattered and destroyed.
Yeah, so he has like a limp and he can't really like use the foot well.
Yeah, and it's a
And-
consistent issue. He's always in pain.
Yeah, and then the third person is introduced later when they reach like kind of college age, and it's one of the roommates. It's the roommate of Sam, and his name is Marks.
Yeah.
And Marks is just like this artsy person who's like just in love with life. He's very vibrant. He's very like loving, caring, sweet, and everything. And these are like the three main characters that you follow throughout the book. And you start with this girl Sadie meeting Sam in the hospital when Sam is there for like the recovery of his another foot surgery.
Yes, and Sadie's there because her sister's dying from
Dysentery?
diarrhea. Her sister actually has cancer, but they don't want to talk about it and they make jokes about it. So they always say she's dying from dysentery.
I think it's the center. I don't know.
It is diarrhea, just like an old
Yeah,
English
it's like
term.
yeah, they made fun of it, and I thought it was a cute.
It was
running gag.
cute, yes. And the whole way all the characters talk is very John Green again. I could just say, who else would talk like she's dying from like an old English word other than John Green?
I don't know. I haven't read a book from John Green yet, but it's on my list.
You have read a book from John Green.
I have.
Yes, you've read The Fault in Our Stars. We made an episode about
Oh,
it.
sorry. I was thinking about Hank Green, his brother.
Oh no, he writes different.
Okay, never mind. That.
Also fun, but not like that at all.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, I was in a. Okay. Anyways, point being,
Sorry. You go.
you go.
Okay. So Sam, what we don't know, but like when they meet, Sadie comes in and she just talks to Sam. It's very regular. They're playing a game, they're talking to each other. And then Sadie leaves the room, and that's when we learn that Sam hasn't talked in months, ever since he had the accident. And that's the first time where you're like, oh. like, what is going on here? Because other than that, like before that, it was just regular day, regular games and stuff.
Yeah, and so that was very cute that they already like started forming a bond there, and it wasn't obvious friendly to like the outside eye. You wouldn't think like, oh my god, they're getting along super well. It was like this kind of silent friendship that grew over time. And so from the hospital, they just kind of like, I think he's been in the hospital for a total of 600 hours that they spent together in the hospital.
It's
Like
over
he's
900, I think.
okay.
But anyway,
He's been there longer, but she has kind of logged the hours that she's been with him because she signed it off as community service. And this was also why they then had a falling out, because he found out that she did this as community service, which in reality it wasn't for her anymore. It maybe potentially started off as that, but
it started off, and also she liked just to see like the numbers go up, because
Yeah.
she also thought she's better than her sister, for example, because she has like 900 hours like on the sheet,
Yeah.
like writing there. But that's not why she spent time with Sam. She actually really liked him.
And so, but he's like butthurt over this, and they have a falling out, and then they don't talk to each other, I think, for years to come.
Yeah, until they're in university.
Yeah, and then in university they only randomly see each other.
Yes.
He sees her, I think, in the subway station somewhere, and the way he describes her is, and this is why I could already tell it's like page 6 on the book, why I marked it, because it's the very beginning. And he describes that he feels like the crowd parted for her, and it all moved in a way that it never would for him. And I thought that was like beautiful writing, because it says so much about a character and how he thinks about himself and other people without actually shoving it in your face. You know, she could have written, like the author could have written like, oh, he was feeling insecure or she was beautiful or whatever, but they did it in like a kind of subtle-ish way, and that's great foreshadowing for the entire book, because the writing in there, amazing, stunning, marvelous, beautiful, love it.
Also, sometimes you don't know what's going on. The way, like, you're experiencing something, and you're only experiencing the way the narrator tells it to you, of course. And that happens a few times throughout the book, that you don't know until like the twist comes in. It's not like a big fat plot twist. It's not like, oh my god, I didn't see the murder coming or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just situations are described, and then suddenly like a sentence comes in and you're like, what? Like that is happening, for example. Sadie's in a computer class, and her teacher, whom she also has a very inappropriate affair with, inappropriate from his part, of course. Like she's the young powerless person and he's the older powerful person, so he's the disgusting dude. Let's just make that very clear. Anyway, but he gives them, like in the computer game class, the task to write a computer game, and you experience the whole thing through Sadie, like how she thinks about what to do. First she does like an Emily
Stu?
No,
wait, what?
Lo-
It doesn't matter. Like
an
a
old
poetry
poem,
game.
Yeah, a poetry game. And then she's like, oh, and now I have an idea. Let's do it in black and white, and it's a factory, and you have to assemble these little things in the factory. The faster you do it, the more you come to the end. But
The more points you get.
the more points you get. But you can also choose to not assemble everything fast and instead find out what the factory is about. And it's very much described as like this mystery game, but
Yeah.
we have no idea what's going on. And then the class plays the game and everybody flips out, like totally. They like think she should get expelled,
Yeah.
etc. And you're like, because we know what she coded. We know she coded a black and white factory game where you have to get faster to get more points and stuff. And that's all we heard from this narrator. And then you're like very confused about what is going on with the class. Why are they all flipping out? Because we were there when she coded it. So to
Very
say.
extreme.
And then suddenly you get the last message that those people got when they won. I think it was through an email or something that was...
No, it was just like a pop-up screen.
No. I mean, we figured out through an email that was sent to
Oh,
get
yeah,
her
yeah, yeah.
expelled. And then the message is in that email. And the message at the end, if you have assembled everything as fast as possible and got the most amount of points, that pops up is, congratulations, Nazi. You have helped lead the Third Reich to victory. You are a true master of efficiency. And only through that do we then, like, you have to go back and think about, like, what did she code, right?
Yeah.
What did she explain? and also what was the game about. And there's multiple things in this book, like situations where you experience things and then something else comes up and you have to go back and re-examine what you just read and what was actually happening. But the way it was written was so good because the entire time you don't think you're missing things. Like you're like, okay, yeah, she's coding like a black and white factory game where you have to assemble things. Right?
And then you get like the different perspective added to it, and suddenly you're like, oh. And in that case, she obviously built a game which was rewarding you to not ask questions and not stop to figure out what you're actually doing, and then making you feel bad for it in the end. And kind of teaching you a lesson. And it also shows how smart it is and how it reflects a lot on like certain issues. I think also the book sometimes touches on like gender topics, racism, about like homophobia in the society and such.
Yes, there's gay characters, but also Sadie is very much through most of the book the only woman in this game industry. And specifically in like when she starts working before they eventually build their own company with their own games, etc. And also in classes, etc. It's very nuanced. I want to say.
And I think they do all the struggles well because they show them, they talk about them, but they don't make it the main thing of the story. It's always just like, as you said, it's kind of nuanced. It's like, it's never the driving plot point.
See, and that's again why I was thinking of John Green the entire time. Because in The Fault in Our Stars, the cancer is never driving the plot line. It's just, it's two teenagers living their lives and they also happen to have cancer.
Yeah, true.
And that's the same way that this happens. It's those people living their lives, but they also happen to have pain, or they happen to be a woman and having to fight extra hard for things.
Yes. And this is what I think the book does so well, because I was actually talking to Tabby, and Tabby said like she's also very much a plot reader. Like everything has to be like, there has to be a lot of plot, very fast. And I would say it's kind of similar to me. Like I can appreciate like a deep conversation and all that, but I do obviously enjoy when things are happening. But this book, you almost feel like nothing really happens at all. Like it's kind of, it feels like slice of life. You just see them grow up. You see them like build games together. You see them build a company, as Tabby said. You see them make another game. You see them fighting. You see them reuniting. There's everything in there. But it's done so well, and it captures you so much, and I almost cannot explain why. Like, why does it draw you in so good when there's little plot, when they're really just describing like how they're developing over time. It's crazy. I love it.
Because up until a certain point, those characters aren't two-dimensional. To me, eventually they became two-dimensional.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God. Wait, okay, do we want to spoiler about this? Well, first finish your point and then we can go there.
Well, again, before they were very nuanced, and you really thought you had like a whole person there that you were reading about and not just a random character. Because you experience a lot of thoughts about their family, about their upbringing. You also would jump back every once in a while.
Which, by the way, I also think is done very well. Like the flashbacks are woven in? What is the past tense of weave?
Weaved?
Is it?
Woven? This woven kingdom? I
don't know. Anyways, it is in the story.
Thrown in.
Thrown in the story. Very well. Because I find that sometimes it would be like, for example, Sam falls down because his foot is not working well, and then he lies on the hard like concrete, and as he like stares outward, he kind of just like zooms out and he has thoughts of his mom and like a similar situation, and then you get the whole flashback about his mom, and it just kind of, it makes sense in the situation. Like they never force it on you. It always makes sense in every situation.
Because you experience those flashbacks.
The mic you've been struggling a lot, girl.
I know.
What is it?
So you experience flashbacks, and in the beginning you don't necessarily think that those flashbacks also tell one coherent story.
Oh yeah.
But after like half of the book, or like 2/3 of the book, you're like, oh, this is also one consecutive story that is being told, but just in individual flashbacks. And for example, we meet Sam when he's in the hospital because he had foot surgery. But and we also know his mother's dead and he lives with his grandparents. That's all we know. But then eventually we learn that that was actually rather shortly after the accident that killed his mother, which was also the one that destroyed his foot, and what was happening, why they were even there driving, etc. But all of that like gets puzzled together through individual scenes that we have to understand different things. And then it's like, oh, this is actually one scene that where we just get, and we don't even get it in order. Like we get different points of that story through the
But it's
flashbacks.
easy to understand. Like it's not like you need big brain time to follow that. It's honestly, they're not making it hard on you.
Big brain time. There's no big brain time here.
No.
We have one brain cell.
Exactly.
We share it.
So if we can understand it, you can understand it. It's no issue there. But yeah, it's really done well. But to quickly, so now let's talk about spoilers. So if you want to read this, and I think you should, and I think it's a clear recommendation from you too, right? You don't have to listen to everything that comes next, at least like a good chunk of it. But also still, even if you know all of the plot points, in my opinion, it's still a great book because you're not reading it for
driven.
Yes, exactly. You're just reading it for like the feeling of it. Okay, but to summarize it, like very high level, as we said, they get to know each other in the hospital. They meet again in university. In university, that's where Marx also comes into play.
I love Marx.
Then they're building their own company. They're making a game. The game gets like incredibly famous. They get super rich out of that. They have a falling out slowly over time because there have been like complications between Sadie and Sam.
Agree to disagree.
Okay. And then at some point, Sadie and Mark start like dating. Sadie actually gets pregnant over this, and then a big drama happens, which is that Mark gets killed in a shooting.
I actually had like tears.
Yeah, I was just shocked. I was genuinely
also the
shocked.
way his death was explained.
Yeah, I was. We can talk about that in a second. And he gets killed at the game company for something that they actually did in game, which is they allowed like gay marriage in a game, and then they were shot for it. Marx was shot with it.
Allowed marriages between everyone, like gnomes, fairies, breadsticks. It's a game, but also between two male and also two female characters. But like being pissed when there's also like ogres and trees that can marry is honestly really stupid. But also what people do.
But that happened, and then Sadie was pregnant, and she was depressed because her partner obviously was dead. And then
yes, because also Sam was the face of that game. He was the one who was very good at like doing PR, and so that's always what he did. And Mark was so in the background, like nobody knew him basically. Sam was also the mayor in the game when they had like big events, etc. So the people came there to not kill Sam. I don't think they wanted to kill him. They wanted to like
threaten him,
and scare him. But then he wasn't there because Sadie and him were in New York, I think. And then they ended up actually killing Marx, but also not like suddenly. He wasn't like shot and died. He was shot in a coma for weeks. He would every once in a while like wake up. He would see people in his room. He would still be like kind of in his coma, but like half awake, and he would hear people talk, etc. And then he could also hear that his heart's getting weaker and he has organ failure.
Oh god, it was so hard to read.
But that was all over like I think 3 or 4 weeks. Like it was a long time.
Yeah.
And it was then on Christmas, I think, is when he died.
Yeah.
And the way it was that we didn't have Marx's POV at all, other than that. I think we only had his POV when he was dying in the coma.
Yeah.
And then dying.
Which made it worse.
Which made it so much worse.
Because I'm like, why am I suddenly reading from your perspective, my boy?
But because also at first you think you're reading from his perspective because he's waking up.
Oh yes, I was like, and he's gonna be back next page, and I flipped the page, and I'm like, okay.
And he's like flying over strawberry fields, and we're like, why are we flying over strawberry fields?
What does this mean? What does any of this mean? It was terrible.
He was very like light and happy, and death was peaceful for him,
which still didn't make it any better.
It was
I was like, oh my god. is having tough time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was also having a tough time because Sadie was so depressed afterwards, and I got
Well,
it, and I was like,
also,
good lord.
because before already, Sadie in her mind made up a reason to hate Sam, never talked to him about that, and then just like created the fallout
Yeah.
for their friendship. And that's also when I was like, no, eventually I have to be out because nobody talks to each other except for Marks. Marks was the only person talking.
Yeah.
Sam asked Sadie a bunch of times, hey, what's going on? Why do you have an issue with me?
Mm-hmm.
And Sadie is like, I'm just here in my head. I'm making up reasons to hate you and I'm not talking to you at all.
Okay, but let's talk about this because now you basically know more or less the entire plotline, except that towards the end they kind of get friendly-ish again after years and years of like time passing. But the falling out, I had different viewpoints on this because before they already had a very deep relationship. Like they said they always loved each other, but not in a platonic way that was very, very deep though. They said like they were kind of soulmates in this way that you will only ever find one person you can truly create things with and collaborate with. I'm looking at you, girl. And stop. Stop the crying.
Oh my god, that's so deep. I love you too.
Okay, back on track. And they were stop with this happy stuff. They were I'm blushing. I started this now. I'm blushing. What I want to say.
I don't know.
They.
Oh yeah, they had a deep relationship.
Oh yeah, and so like it was very loving and sweet. And then I agree, it randomly turned sour, and I didn't appreciate it. But I thought the way it spiraled down at least in the beginning made total sense to me because as Tabby said, there was a slow falling out of because Sadie made a game that Sam was getting all the credit for. She felt like she was doing all the heavy lifting and he was doing just like the fun PR things and like the
also
interviews
something
and
she
such.
didn't talk to him about.
Yeah, she didn't, but like she was building a little resentment. Then she was building resentment over a past thing, like about her affair that she had with the professor.
That she completely made up in her mind. That situation never happened. She
Yes.
completely made something up in her mind, started hating Sam for that, and that never happened. And then when she got told it never happened, she's like, no, in my mind it did, so it's true.
Yeah, I don't think it was as easy, I find. But it was also because at the same time that she started like this kind of resentment spiral, Sam was starting to avoid her because he was getting his foot amputated, and therefore he was dealing with a whole new level of pain for the first time in his life, like insane phantom pain. He was suffering with like not being able to walk, not being able to live
Yes,
really,
and if
participate in
she
life.
had ever been a good friend, she should have had to be there for her friend.
I agree. But also Sam never really lets anyone know. He very much draws the line. He has never told any person really how he feels, how
Yes,
he is.
but as someone who has chronic pain and has days, I had 2 days last week where I could not get up without thinking I'm passing out from the pain. It was so bad. I also pull myself back because you're so overwhelmed with yourself and your body that you cannot control. That is completely out of your control. And it's taking more energy than you possibly have to just get up. That's the only thing you can do. The only thing you can do is just try to deal with yourself until it eventually gets better. That's the only point when you can then say, okay, now I can talk to people. I can't even tell people on those days how bad it is because that takes up too much energy that I don't have.
And I get that.
So that's honestly, I could understand that because I'm like, I'm there multiple times a week.
Yes.
And it is overwhelming and it's so bad that the only thing you can do is just be by yourself and try to survive.
I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm totally with you. I'm
Much
not
more nice makeup.
I'm not blaming Sam for that at all. The only thing that I feel like it made sense to me because both of these people had like their own perspective, and to me it just showed that there's many truths to life, and there's many like different facets to life, you know. And you can feel anger and resentment, and all of that, and still be a good friend, or you can be
But she wasn't.
yeah, or as I said, like, you could have been a great friend before. You can say like that's my soulmate and still behave shittily towards someone. And it just showed so many nuances of a person, I think, and of struggles and like the different viewpoints of it, that at every point I kind of understood it to a degree, because at some point the spiral gets so bad, and I do agree that is driven by Sadie, where she really stops communicating at all.
Yeah.
And then especially when Sam starts putting in an effort and he actually is
because he couldn't, like, he physically and psychologically before that could not. He had his foot amputated.
Yeah, but
like how is he supposed to like be, oh no, let's fix this friendship now? No, that is a point in your life where you only can and you only should deal with yourself.
fair enough, yeah. I'm not disagreeing. I just think, as I said, there were enough points from like Sadie's perspective up to a certain point that it made sense that she was too hurt to reach out or to whatever.
Again,
But
only because she never talked about anything.
yes, and that is at some point I feel like if it gets this bad, you gotta start talking about it.
It wouldn't have gotten that bad if she had started to talk from the beginning.
Also that, yeah, very much true. But again, I understand her reasons for it. I think it's human nature to sometimes fail at things like this. She shouldn't have, obviously. That's no question. But it just, the book made me understand it.
I did not.
Okay. Well,
not even a little bit.
I accept your wrong opinions. No, it was just, as I said, I think for me it kicked in later, the annoyance.
It really started to make me hate her. And then also when Marx dies when she's pregnant and she's depressed. Okay, absolutely fair. But the way she talked about her baby and the way she treated her baby, like it was a parasite, that's also how she started talking about it. That's unredeemable to me. As a mother, treating your unborn child, for that child hasn't done anything.
But I get it.
No. That is unredeemable to me.
I get it, because when the child was born, she loved it. She took care of it.
No, she didn't love it.
She took great care of it.
She took care of it, but she didn't love it. Till the end, she kept talking about like this kid as just like something. It was never with love. It was just like, yeah, I have to take care of it. There was not a single moment where she's like, I love my kid. I love spending time. It's just like, I have to do this now.
Maybe, but I wouldn't say that she did not love it.
As a mother, she failed, and that's the worst failure you can do.
Again, I felt from her point, it was again understandable to a degree. And
again, no, I understand the depression. I don't understand treating your child like that.
Okay. Anyways, that was a minor side plot. The child never really happened in the book. But yeah, towards the end, it all turned very grim. Like the falling out really spiraled down. I was like, any moment now we're back to the happy.
No.
We're back. No, still no. Okay, also, any second now, and it just never happened. So
by the point that Marx dies, he's the only character you can even bear.
By that point, I don't know.
I was like, oh no, now the only person I can actually stand is dead. And then I really had to force myself through the rest. I was like, I hate everyone here.
Oh my god. Okay, not me. I was just very sad for the two of them because I just wanted them to figure things out.
Yeah, but they didn't. And like non-communication is one of the worst tropes out there.
Yeah.
And that's just, the entire issue was just non-communication.
Yeah, where I really started like being pissed is when Sam starts reaching out and he starts making an effort, and then Sadie kind of turns him down, and I'm like, good God.
Also just because.
And then there was a moment where like the disgusting affair dude comes to her and literally gives her like a reality check, and he's like, girl, I have done horrible things to you, and you still talk to me. Sam, who's been like trying and who's been like your best friend for like all your life, you're not talking to him because of what? And
something
then I was
you made up in your mind.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, if like the most toxic person in your life tells you that, maybe you're the problem. I was like, okay, literally, that was the only valid thing he ever said in the book. Previously, I was like, I hate your guts.
Don't make me be on a man's side.
And also not that man's side. I was like, ew, homie. But like, I guess you're kind of right.
He treated her like a piece of shit.
It was really,
and she was always like,
ish. Yeah. She was, yeah, it was.
And
like
he was like, hey, I'm coming to the town. Do you want to meet for lunch? Sure.
No, I didn't perceive her that much. Like,
and then she starts working for him. I was like, no, girl, you're just garbage.
Oh, okay. Well, I hold her in higher regard than you.
No, to me,
You're
she's
obviously a hater now.
absolute garbage.
Okay. Well, I liked her still. I just thought life was complicated. You've got some tough cards there, kid. And I felt sorry
She
for
didn't
her.
have tough cards. The only tough cards she was ever dealt in her entire life is Mark's dying.
Which is enough. Like, how are
That's
you
the
like
only- other than that, everybody was always there to support her. Everybody was like happy, healthy, supportive. She's always been rich. Had
but
no
how
issue
is
with it. The only bad thing that ever happened to her was Mark's dying.
but how is a dead partner not enough to like be depressed and traumatized?
No, I let her have the depression. That's not
Yeah.
the thing I have an issue with. Being depressed over that is, but her entire behavior before that, with like her having zero issues in her life, it's just like no.
I don't know. I got it. I understood it. I thought it was very nuanced. I thought it was very well done. I was very happy with it. I actually haven't rated the book yet, but thinking about it, I would probably give it a good 4.5 stars if I could. But on Goodreads, probably going to end up as 4 stars because throughout the book, very much enjoyed it. The last few percent, I was like, meh, because they kind of lost me there a little bit. Not gonna lie, which is sad. And also, I didn't get my happy ending. They're kind of like they reacquainted towards the end, but that's about it. They're like on friendly terms or neutral terms, maybe.
Yeah, but also honestly, I would never forgive Sadie for being such a bitch.
No, I guess I would.
No, I'd be
Like if we talked it out,
you stupid
I would be
fucking
like, I
whore."
also made some mistakes as Sam because I think he did.
Yeah, he did, but nothing as severe as she did.
Okay. Well, let's hope we never argue that way because like the way you're like throwing your looks at me right now, it's like you could pierce me with that. I'm like, oh good
Well,
God.
yeah, if you make up an issue in your mind that
And
never
not talk to you
happened,
about it?
yeah,
Yeah.
not talk to me about it, then make me the worst person on the planet for something I never did, then be angry with me because I get my foot amputated and cannot take care of you. Yes, then I would be like, yeah, that's not unredeemable. Then our friendship is over.
Well, I guess that answers the question of who you don't want to go to dinner with.
I just want to go to dinner with Marks.
Yeah, I get that. He's such a cutie patootie.
Yeah.
And he's so in love with life and everyone. And he says this one thing, I think, when Sadie once says like, oh, I feel love just consumes me. And he's like, but is anything even worth loving if it doesn't consume you fully? And I just thought like, oh, you're such a good chickoo, you know? Like I just want to poke his cheeks and like grab him and pat him on the head and be like, you're just a cutie.
Mm.
Yeah. If you wouldn't mind, I would join that dinner. If that's okay. Thank you.
I could then also talk to him about his shitty girlfriend and why he should leave her.
Yeah. Before that, he had a fun girlfriend though.
Wow.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
Zoe?
she was nice. Yeah,
see?
the one I think she like played the cello or whatever naked in the apartment the entire
Yeah.
time, or guitar or something, right?
What a vibe.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's what we'll be doing after the podcast. But for now, I'd say goodbye and until next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Goodbye.